Welcome to MTG Friends. This is the weekly meta wrap-up for Standard. So let's just jump right in. We've seen a little bit of movement from some of these decks, like seeing Gruul Adventure drop like 6 spots, seeing Mono Red kind of just sort of rise a little bit, and Dimir Control become one of the top dogs. That is actually surprising. Also notice it is surrounding the Dream Den, but that's not the key part of this. The key part is the Ruin Crabs, the milling mechanics, and notice the main lining of Cling to Dust. That was mostly sideboarded before, but we have seen a huge increase in a spike in Rakdos decks. So let's just jump right into Rakdos. Oh, and before we move on to that, just remember with Dimir Control, you're going to be running long games, and you could time out depending on who you're playing against and lose the games because of that. So just be cognizant of your time management when playing that Ruin Crab Dimir build. All right, Rakdos, just like you'd expect, it's the same one we've seen for a handful of weeks. Kroxa is the pivotal part of this. The include of the Ox has made this very, very powerful. So you're basically battling it out between this one and the Dimir build. This is a solid build, a lot of removal. Be very aware of that when you're playing something like Mono Red, Mono Green. They're going to be whacking your 1-drops, 2-drops fairly efficiently and effectively. Golgari Adventure, boy, post bannings of the recent bannings, we're now seeing Unchain in there, which is a great card, but it just wasn't as powerful as some of the others. And then Murderous Rider, oh, seeing that again. I've always been fond of that card. So this one is interesting. It's got the normal Edge Wall Innkeeper combo up with the Beast for draw, etc, etc, etc. So nothing super unique going on here. Also a lot of removal. So just moving on into the other spots. We still got the Azorius Blink deck. You know, after post nerfing of the companions, Sky Nomad is the strongest out of all of them. And it still remains strong and playable. The post nerf to have to pay 3 to bring it into your hand, I think they went too far, but that's a whole other episode. This one's exactly what you'd expect. It's got Thas in there, which got brought back in. And that's pretty much it about this one. It's exactly what you'd expect to see. Shark Typhoon continues to be a very, very strong card in blue. Mono Red, not really much to talk about Mono Red. The only thing of note is notice that they're mainlining Ash now. I actually run this deck. I'm running 4 instead of 2 just because of all of the mill Dimir decks that you're running into. So you might want to consider that. The other thing in terms of all this milling and the Rakdos shenanigans going on is you're going to want to sideboard in some chain web Arachnors, which I do in this build. In the Gruul Adventure, which is the one I'm playing the most right now, this is just a solid, great build. It combats and works against a lot of those top tier decks. This again is going to have mostly what you're expecting to see. The Lovestruck Beast Edgewall Adventure mechanics. But the Brushfire really has become a dominant card in this build. It is super janky awesome, especially when you're hitting a Fabled Passage, cracking it, buffing that thing up 2, then another 2. Just very cool. We're running Evolving Wilds just to continue that whole theme of getting the Brushfire buffed up super jankily. Embercleaves, of course, what a great card. I'm going to be sad to see that thing rotate out. I think it's a fun, well-balanced card. All right, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you got your mono green, which you'd expect. You got some mono green food as well, and a few others at the bottom. So that's pretty much up. That's a wrap up. Again, in summary, you're going to be doing really good with the mono red and the Gruul deck. You're going to be competing against milling mechanics with the Dimir Control and the Rakdos and Golgari Adventure. You're just, you know, there's all sorts of stuff going on with similar themes post Omnath bannings. All right, thanks for checking it out. Be a friend of the gathering. Hit that subscribe if you haven't become part of the gathering, and hit the like button. See you on the next episode.